take this opportunity to really thank all our speakers for the knowledge, the knowledge that you have shared with us. I can't be the same with how we started. There is a lot that I have learned. And also thank you participants, because without you, these presentations would not really make any sense. So thank you for the questions. My task has been to just come up with the 10 key points or themes for us as African social workers. So what do we work on from this conference, this workshop, this presentations that we have had? And I think from as organizers, I think this has really been very successful, because first of all, it is reminding us about the issues that must be on top of the agenda for us as social workers, as African social workers or social workers in Africa. And it is also, we also have call to action. So we have issues we must put on the agenda. We are reminded of the issues that we are faced with as social work educators and also practitioners who could be present. And some of these issues really, from what the speakers have been highlighting, include issues of food security and nutrition, and which are very much connected to equity. As has been highlighted, we know there is a lot of food around the world, but it's really about the distribution of that food. And so we need to look at equity issues. We need to look at feminization of poverty, from Professor Tanusha has been been mentioning, issues of gender pay gap, issues of gender injustice. We are really reminded that they must still be on top of the agenda, in our work as social workers. And then we also, the speakers have touched on issues of decolonization and representation. And really, these are historical issues, like the speakers have mentioned, but they are historical, and we still need to have them top of the agenda. We still need to address them. Even if they have spanned on for decades, they are still relevant to us. We still need to ensure that we can find a social work that is addressing the local needs of our people, the local needs of our communities. And some of the ways we can achieve this decolonization, achieve issues of representation, is through being united. I think from what people have been talking about, unity is coming up as a key point, as a key theme. And we show our unity, we show our solidarity through the work that our associations of social workers are doing. So the work that organizations or associations like ASWANET, like ASWA, Association of Schools of Social Work, African Union, International Association of Social Workers, these organizations, they need to be top on the agenda. Each one of us, I don't know, each one of us present, I don't know if you are members of these associations, but we've been possible to have this discussion through the work that has been done in the associations. So we need to come together and work in solidarity in these associations. Let's support them. And through these associations and through the unity and solidarity, we can take on leadership. I think this has been very critical. Africa, we need to take leadership and not to really follow. We need to have that strong voice that actually addresses our African issues. I think from experience that Professor Shahana has been talking about, while European issues are being regarded as urgently or emergent issues we must address, we see African issues still lagging behind. And we need African voices, African leadership to actually take these issues, to actually take on these issues as important. So African issues matter when we also have African leadership. So let's think about this key point of leadership. And the fifth point I want to mention is the issue on social action as one of the fields of social work, and this aligns with the social work positioning itself to address structural issues that are really affecting the masses. It was so shocking for me to hear that our students still prefer to do counseling, but they still prefer to do remedial social work. They still want to counsel the hungry and the poor. But I think from the discussions that we have had, there is need to really focus on the macro, on the structural issues that are really resulting into these macro issues and macro problems that our communities are experiencing. And I think our reflection should be on how we actually encourage our students to move beyond counseling, to move beyond casework, to move beyond the remedial. And I think when we position, or when we put at the center the communities, their needs, I think our students should be able to actually appreciate that what we need is the focus on the structure and not really the individualistic forms that won't really address the needs of the communities. Our speakers also talked about us recognizing and embracing positive benefits of technology, especially when it comes to the work that people, technology and how it's supporting people with disabilities, but then also women in the informal sector who are using and drawing on digital technologies and social media. So as social workers, we need to think about the role that technology can play, or the role that technology plays in our social work practice, in our social work education, and maybe bridge the gap, the divide between those who have access to technology and those who do not. And it was also noted that the women's contribution in the informal economy needs to really be recognized. For most of our women that we work with, this is a form of survival. And this could be a survival strategy that we can build on, instead of pathologizing the women and saying, oh, they are poor, they can't do anything, they're in the informal sector. This could be a strength that we can build on, and as we work to support the women in the initiatives that they have started. So we recognize women's contribution in that informal sector, and we build on it in our social work practice. And we also address the structural inequalities that these women are experiencing, these women in the informal sector. And the last 2 points, we have been exposed to the neglect that fieldwork training, that we are still neglecting fieldwork training in our social work education, yet this is a really important part of learning and teaching. But then also we have been discussing the challenges to do with fieldwork not really aligning with the decolonizing agenda, with the indigenizing agenda, with fieldwork not aligning with the philosophies that we are now grounding our social work in. And we have been very lucky to have some ideas on the innovative strategies that we can actually adopt to make sure that we match our field placement with the developmental model of social work, with the indigenization and decolonization agenda. So ideas that our Professor Roderick Mpensizo has given us, has shared with us around workshop placements, fieldwork, floating or village camping and group, block field placements, to mention just a few, I think are very critical. And if we can still reflect on these, these ideas, and I think the most important thing is for us to act. Sometimes we leave such, presentations when we are very excited, but the action is sometimes what is lacking. And I think Shahana also talked about it and said, yes, it's very easy to talk about the need to decolonize, but who is decolonizing? Who is going ahead to put that decolonization in action? So I really would love to challenge each one of us here to do something, to act differently, to think differently. And that's what decolonization is about. You question, you dismantle, but you think and act differently. So I'll leave it at that. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for the summary for the 10 points. These 10 points will be shared with everyone. I just wanted to check just 2 questions that we'll take, or 2 comments, if there's any addition to the comments that to the 10 items that Charlotte contributed. Any additions, any comments? Any additions?
Hello, I just want to respond to Charlotte's comment in the chat around how do we deal with stigma around informal economy. Yeah. I'm happy to send Charlotte a paper that I published around the relationship between the formal economy and the informal economy, because I argue there that it's really not disconnected from each other. And I think, to echo the sentiments of my colleague, Professor Rasool, who said that we really need to tap on social action strategies, tap on our advocacy roles, to lobby for proper regulations, labor law protection of people who work in the informal economy, and really have proper funding support as well to sustain their livelihoods. So that's my response. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that. So if there are no other additions, we'll be sharing the document that Charlotte created, summarizing what we covered today. And just to emphasize what Professor Shahana said, organizations have been talking, us who have been talking about decolonization, indigenization, action is important. Let's be thinking about action as we leave this meeting today. So at this moment, I'm going to thank some people for helping organize this conference. Olu, thanks very much for the introductions and for your facilitation. I can see you are still here. Thank you very much. Colleagues from the African Schools of Social Work Association, Charlotte and your team, thank you very much for the work that you have done. You did very well with the first conference that we partnered with you. We reciprocated, and hopefully we'll be working together again in future. I would also want to thank everyone who attended today's Indaba. Thank you very much for coming. We've been talking about important issues. Africa Day is an important part of the African calendar, but we should make it also an important part of the social work calendar. So hoping to see you again next year when it is the second Africa Day Indaba. One of the speakers talked about, shared some news. I don't know if other people were already aware of that, but I wasn't. That Joachim Mumba has been elected the president of the International Federation of Social Workers. So that's something that we should applaud. Let's reach out to Joachim and congratulate him and see how we can work with him going forward. Our presenters, thank you very much, Professor Tanusha, Professor Shahana, brilliant presentation. Happy to do further discussions on the issues that you raised. Our keynote speaker, Professor Mpeziswa, thank you very much for taking time to speak with us and sharing your wealth of knowledge in terms of fieldwork. I'm thinking about ways we could make that information available to other social workers. Some of the information, like the 11 points that you talked about, might be hidden somewhere in journals that are not accessible. Maybe we need to talk about ways of ensuring that that information is available, also including the 6 options that you talked about. Very important. So thanks so much for that. Let me hand over to one member of the SSW, if they've got one word to say. Charlotte was going to do that.
Yeah, I just want to really say that from our side as organizers, ASWANET and ASWA, we are really, really privileged that we still have 33 participants who have joined us. We had 38 at some point, and we really thank you for coming, and we really hope that this has, the discussions here have changed your thinking somehow. If I was in class, I would ask what has changed, or what is your takeaway, but I really know that at least there has been something, and I really pray that there has been something that you have taken away from the discussions here. So ASWA is still looking for members, as an Association of Schools of Social Work. We are there to promote social work education, and we just have over 26 schools of social work in Africa. We still need more members to join us. To amplify our voice, to also come up with innovative ideas on how we can have social work education that aligns with the local needs, with the local philosophies, So you can join as members, as individual members, and you can also join as an institution. So please contact us if you need, if you would want us to, give you a little bit of more information on how you can be part of the Association of Schools of Social Work. But we really need more members, individuals, and also schools of social work. So please, this is a call that you could join us. I really want to thank you so much for your time, and thank you, Jacob, for making this happen. It's been a lot going on, but we really want to thank you, and really want to thank our speakers and our moderators who have done a great job. I thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Charlotte. So with this, with those words from Charlotte from ASWA, I'm happy to say we've reached the end of this meeting. Let's hope we'll meet again in future engagements. Thank you very much.